Hey friends, welcome back to Mustard Seed Homesteading. My name is Megan, and if you're new here, I'm so glad you stopped by because this is my weekly Greenstalk Garden Tour and Harvest where I share everything that's going on with the Greenstalks while we do some harvesting. So before we get started, I do want to let you know that I just posted my onion harvest video out of the Greenstalks, and if you're interested in seeing those results, I will leave that in the description below. But I will say that some of my favorite things to grow in the Greenstalks is definitely onions and garlic. Now we need to take a look at everything. As you can see behind me, everything has just blown up. Now there's a lot I want to say about all the Greenstalks on this tier system that I have because this is newer for me. So there's some observations that I have been making as I'm watching this and observing it growing. But I do want to quickly show you, I already started harvesting because when I get out here, sometimes I'm like, Megan, you have to film, stop harvesting, stop pruning, and stop cleaning. But look at all this Greek dwarf basil that I already harvested. I just thought it was getting really big, so I just went ahead and harvested it. But I also wanted to point something out. So Greenstalks seed starting kits, you can use these as harvest baskets, and I don't know why it took forever to do it. I think I used it during the springtime and then I just got away from using them. Like, I really need to use them because they're so nice and large. But you can use the bottom watering tray and even the top tray for harvesting. So we are going to use that today. By the way, everything is just looking glorious in the garden, and I am just now wanting to go around and clean and prune. Even though I keep up with pruning, it just seems like a never-ending thing. I had to quickly show this to you. So this is not with Greenstalks, but I'm growing a cantaloupe in one of my bags. I will show this on the backyard garden tour, but I am so excited. I see a lot of little fruits and I have a lot of cantaloupe, different varieties growing everywhere. And so far it is looking so good. Look at this cute little cantaloupe. I really need to try other varieties in the Greenstalk. I do have one variety that I will show you later, but I think I'm starting to have a couple of favorites. This one actually might be the Athena F1. That's exactly what it is. I actually stopped the camera to go look at the name. The Athena F1 from Haas. Right now, this one's looking really good. I'm noticing more fruit quickly with this, and that actually might be, I think that might be the same one that's in the Greenstalk. I don't know. We'll go check it out in just a few minutes. We are going to take a look at this one first. Now, I've shared before, but my other Greenstalks over there, I'm just going to amend those because those two I'm going to get ready for garlic in the fall, and then the blackberry I'm actually planning to plant leeks in there, and then I will definitely put onions in there again come springtime. You want to know something really funny? It wasn't funny at the time. I was actually quite mad at myself, but I was watering. You can see my hose is right here and it's all wound up on there, but it's kind of difficult with the hose when I have to get it around here to then water some of the stuff back that way. And I was trying to get the hose to go this way so I can water some of my watermelon here and some of the bags over here. Well, guess what I did? I knocked this entire thing down and I was so mad at myself. But I'm going to tell you that the Greenstalk is so durable. I could not get over that when this was knocked down, everything in the pockets stayed. Like, it kind of came out like this a little bit, but I was able to pack it right back down in the pocket, and I was able to pick up the entire thing and put it back on the spinner. I was mad at myself, but then at the same time, I was pleasantly surprised that the majority of everything was okay. I do think, if I remember, I believe I broke off some of this dwarf tomato plant. If I remember, something broke off, but it was nothing major. And I was just grateful that everything was pretty much for the most part still intact. And I will say also, I've shared the story before, but my dear husband knocked over one of the Greenstalks by accident on the driveway. And that's all cement. And when that fell over, the Greenstalk did not break. I was able to put it back together, and the same with this. I mean, this is a little cement pad right here, and it pretty much fell on the ground. But you're talking, it fell fell on the ground, it fell in the cement, and it didn't break. That just shows you how durable and well built the Greenstalks are. And look at this sweet teddy bear sunflower. So this was the very first sunflower I ever grew in my garden, so it means a lot to me, and my goal is to always plant them in the garden. But these grow so well in the Greenstalk. It's on the top tier. And then I'm also trying out the golden dwarf sunflower from Haas, and that one is doing really well too. And then this little sunflower is sleeping, so that one should be waking up soon. Now, the majority of what I have growing on this Greenstalk is a lot of dwarf tomatoes, either Tiny Tim or Orange Hat. And so far, friends, I am really liking the Orange Hat tomatoes. We actually have some to harvest. We're gonna grab some of these. I think this one is actually, let me check. This one is Tiny Tim. There's a lot of tomatoes. Tiny Tim has always done good for me, but I'm really impressed with Orange Hat this year. And then I do have a couple of pepper varieties. I believe it's Melrose and Jimmy Nardello. And I purposely, and I've shared this before, but I purposely have this 3-tier right by my stairs by my kitchen area. So if I need to come and get some basil or a couple of tomatoes or a pepper, I can just come right out and grab some. I also wanted to quickly mention I am trying out new varieties of tomatoes in the Greenstalk this year, and in this one in particular we're trying out the Rio Grande and the Purple Rain. And I also decided to take my 3 or 4 footer bamboo sticks, and instead of having them slanted out, I have them going straight up because the space is not super large. I wanted them to be more up as opposed to out. And so far it's doing really good. Now, here's the thing with bushing tomatoes. Sometimes I never know if they're gonna get super tall. They say bushing, and sometimes they'll say 2, 3, maybe 4 feet, but then they end up getting taller or bigger. So this is a total experiment. I am trying these out, and we're just going to see how they do this year. Okay, this is what I really want to talk about, because all of these Greenstalks that are on this deck trellis is really what I call it, because there's a trellis right here in the middle and then my 2 decks pretty much. But I will say that some of these tomato plants are getting wild and tall. I actually just had to add, I think this is actually a 5-footer with some of these tomatoes, because I am trying out Roma bush tomatoes in here, and I'm trying to think of what else I'm trying in here, but they're getting pretty tall. Now, I feel like the peppers are doing really good, but something I also noticed, not just are some of these tomato plants getting pretty tall, and I'm going to do my best to trellis them as much as I can since they're already planted, but the distance with the Greenstalks between each other, I'm noticing that some plants are getting shadowed, which I had a feeling that was going to happen, which is why I purposely planted specific plants in those spots like pepper plants. But the only thing that is helping me here is the way that the sun is back here. The sun goes over the entire thing, but there are still spots that are not getting sun. So as I'm observing this and I'm watching how everything is growing, I may end up just taking 1 or 2 Greenstalks off, because I did not want to put these on spinners, because some of the Greenstalks over here are growing cucumbers and other things that are trellising or growing on the trellis in the middle. All right, as I was talking, I want to show you something, because I noticed, you see all those leaves that look like they were bitten off? We definitely have a hornworm somewhere, and I don't know if you can see that, but those are their little poops. They look like little grenades, and I'm trying to look for them so I can show you, but I can't find them. Okay, I cannot find him, and then I'm over here pruning. I'm like, wait, Megan, you're filming, stop it. So I'm telling you, when I start pruning stuff, I sometimes get in the zone and I can't help myself. But anyways, I am happy to see though that there are a lot of tomatoes, and I'm so glad that I came out here last week and put in longer bamboo sticks for support. So I feel like for the most part, the tomato plants are supported, but I do need to come out here and do a little bit of cleaning. Now, for the most part, I am happy to see some of the pepper plants are doing really good. Now, the pepper plants on the other side does get a little bit more sun than this side. Thankfully, the sun does go over the entire deck and trellis, so both sides get sun. The other side gets more sun than this side though, so I am definitely being very observant of everything, and by the end of the season I will figure out whether or not I want to keep all of these on here or if I want to take 1 or 2 off. Here's what I want to show you though. Everything has just exploded. This tomato plant is just, yeah, it's growing crazy. But you know what's really exciting? Look at the cucumber plants. Look at how much they have vined all the way to the top. And we have more cucumbers to harvest. I also wanted to show this to you because I did purpose to put some of the tomatoes in the pockets here against the trellis, because the goal was to have a couple of tomatoes growing along the trellis as well. And so far, I'm kind of liking this. And there's more up here too. And this is the other side. I have some Romas growing on there too. Oh my goodness. I did not realize I have 1, 2, and I have 3 cucumbers to harvest over here. And there's another one right here, right over there. And they're growing out of these 2 pockets right here. Super exciting. Okay, we are going to go ahead and harvest this one. I feel like we're getting cucumbers every week now. I love that. Here's another one. I didn't see this one either. All right, I'm gonna grab this one. Oh, this one's a bit tall for me. Oh, because I got flowers falling on my face. We'll get that one when we go on the other side. And then look, there's more over here too. I really like this idea of having these grow over this trellis because it's giving them a lot of space and room to grow all over the place. I didn't even see these over here either. I'm gonna grab these too. And there's these 2 over here. I'm gonna put my hand right through that trellis and grab it. Now I am trying to be really careful because we still have to remove these pallets, and I don't think there's a snake in there, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm gonna be super careful with how I turn around. But I did wanna quickly show you the cantaloupe that is growing out. This one is growing in a grow bag, but I do have the sweet passion growing out of this pocket, and so far it's growing pretty good. Oh, I just realized, wow, it's all the way up there. All right, well, I just realized that it is growing all the way over there, so I'm gonna have to come back out here with some sort of a stool and retrain it to come up this way. And then over on this side, I have 2 loofah plants in these 2 pockets, and friends, look at so far, they are growing so lovely up the trellis. And there's an update on the Pink Beauty Amaranth. It is just, I'm telling you, the stalk of that is so thick and beautiful. Now we're on the other side. Look at all of this. It kind of looks like a jungle. I do need to come in here, like I said. I need to prune a little bit. Oh, look, we have tomatoes. I'm gonna grab some real quick. Now, there is a Melrose pepper, and I've shared this before, but this is a brand new variety for me this year. And so far, I'm incredibly impressed with them in the Greenstalk and the raised beds. I also grabbed a couple of pepperoncinis, and there's a beautiful Jimmy Nardello, but I'm gonna keep that there and wait till next week. Well, for the most part, I just need to come in here and clean, but I did wanna show you this Roma bush. Look at all of these Romas on here, just from one plant. That is so many Romas. I do need to come in here and clean it up a bit and do a little bit more supporting, but I'm really liking this. What I pretty much put under the Roma is, I wanna say that's a 2-footer or a 3-footer. What I'm going to do is probably put a 5-footer. I might even do a 6-foot bamboo stick, just because you see this? That all needs to be trellis. It's literally leaning over, so that's probably what I'm going to do. Everything else is looking really good. I'm actually very happy overall with everything, and even though it does seem a bit crowded in here, I'm learning a lot. And then also, I think with keeping things pruned, that makes a massive difference. But I already have a feeling what I'm going to end up doing is probably taking 1 or 2 of these Greenstalks off and putting them somewhere else, so that I just pretty much have 1 line of Greenstalks on each side. I think that's what I'm going to do next year. You know what I went ahead and did? I just put the 7-footer in there because it was driving me bonkers, and you can see I already clipped it so it has a lot of support. But you know what I did to my future self? I put an extra clip here, so as this starts to grow a little bit more, and let's say I forgot to bring my bag of clips, well, I have 1 extra. I do that a lot in the garden, and I always thank myself later. Okay, I almost freaked out and I wish I caught it on camera, but those hummingbirds, they sound like helicopters and I don't know why, but they scare me every time they come around, even though they're not going to do anything to me. Anyways, let's go ahead and go on the driveway before we end the tour. So I feel like every week when I come down here, it's kind of the same thing because a lot of the Greenstalks on my driveway are dedicated for specific things. So if you're new here, I have sweet potatoes growing in here, which, friends, look at how beautiful everything is growing. I really think that sweet potatoes do so well in the Greenstalk, especially with their plant supports. The plant supports in their trellises help so much when it comes to growing in the Greenstalk. And for anyone that is new, these are my 4 that I dedicated to garlic. They do amazing in the Greenstalks. Of course, I do have some Tulsi holy basil that just volunteered for me, so I'm gonna let it sit there for a while until I amend it. And I am doing my Greenstalk Garden Tour before I film the onion harvest out of the Greenstalks, but I did wanna share this because I'm noticing something a little bit different this year than last year. And what that is I'm seeing more of a consistency in the bulbs being larger. Whereas last year I did have a lot of large bulbs, but I had a lot of medium to small, which I like, but I'm just seeing a lot more consistency with some pretty large onion bulbs, which makes me super happy. Now, I was waiting for all of these to fall, and for the most part, they did except for that one. But if it doesn't fall by the time I have to film this week, I'm gonna go ahead and harvest anyways because they need to be harvested. But I am beyond excited to harvest all of these and see how everything does in these Greenstalks. And then here is my beautiful perennial tower, and I do still need to clean that up. I just haven't had a chance to. Strawberries are still doing really good. I'm hoping to get one more thing of strawberries. I'm not really sure if we're going to be getting any just because we are in July already, but right now what I'm trying to do is make sure everything is cleaned up, and I still need to plant these berry cups of starts in the pockets that don't have any. And I am going to be doing a fall planting for potatoes in the Greenstalks. I already amended, strawed, and got all of these ready. I cannot wait to plant potatoes in here for the fall. These 2 are the last ones that I want to show you, which is pretty much the last ones I always show at the end of my Greenstalk Garden Tours, but I am incredibly impressed with what's growing in here. So let's start with this one because this one is still kind of my spring veggies in here, and I'm just letting some of them do their thing. Now, I did pull out a lot of the kale that just got eaten completely by pests and stuff, but I am seeing that the fennel is doing really good. I don't know when I'm going to harvest that, but so far that's doing amazing. What I'm super excited about is the celery, because while I've done celery in grow bags before and they grew pretty good, this is the best I've ever done. So I honestly don't know when I'm going to harvest these. I should harvest them soon just because it is really hot now, but I'm super impressed, and I kind of want to see if it's going to grow a little bit more. So I don't know. It'll be a week by week basis, and I'll just figure out when the best time will be to harvest. What I did want to quickly show you though is this new flower. I never grew this flower before, but it is so beautiful and the color is so stunning. It's called Chief Red Flame, and I want to show this to you. Look at this gorgeous flower. Look at how fun that looks. Let me tilt it. Look at how fun that is. Isn't that beautiful? So I think I have this growing in one of my raised beds too, but this is a fun flower. And I think they have like side shoots too. So I'm gonna keep observing this and see how it does. This might be one of my new favorite flowers to grow. And then on the other side, there's just more fennel and celery. So I will just keep an eye on this and figure out when the best time will be to harvest some of them. But this one, this is my pepper Greenstalk with a couple of companions. So there's that amaranth, and I am so happy that I planted it because it's doing its job. The insects are getting that, and they are leaving my pepper plants alone. But I have to show you something. So not only are the jalapenos just doing amazing, look at all this. I'll harvest a couple. Look at all these gorgeous jalapenos. But what I noticed is a new variety that I have in here. It's Autry F1, and there are a ton of peppers growing. Let me show you. Here's an Autry F1. We've got 1, 2, 3 right here, another one here, and then on the other side there's another one with more peppers here, This one has 4 peppers on this plant, and I am just absolutely impressed with Autry F1. So hopefully we'll be harvesting a lot of peppers this summer. Oh, I didn't see you. Hey buddy, what's going on? Let me check what variety that is. That is actually Garden Sunshine. I forgot about that. That one's one of my favorite ones. It did really good for me last year, so I'm trying it out in the Greenstalk this year. And here's Cali Wonder. We've got 2 peppers on here so far, and I don't know. I think I'm gonna wait and give that one another week. We got a good amount of jalapenos, and I see so much more, so I have a feeling we're gonna be harvesting a lot. The last ones I wanna show you and give you updates on are the 2 3-tier brown Greenstalks. So these are on the Ultimate Movers. If you're new here, I have overwintered pepper plants before in the past, and they've done really good. However, I've done them in grow bags, and they take up so much space for just one plant. So I decided to make 2 of these with the Ultimate Movers, pretty much all peppers. Now there's a couple of tomatoes on the top here, but this one is all peppers, and actually a couple of them, this one actually died on me, and I think the one next to it. So I might just fill that with a couple of extra pepper plants that I do have. But so far, everything's doing really good. And here's another example of how well the Melrose pepper is doing. Look at how many. They're just growing so good. And then of course, the Jimmy Nardello. Jimmy Nardello is my favorite. It just does so well. They grow fun, they're sweet peppers, and I just love them. So I'll try to give updates weekly on these, but so far, I'm very excited about this. All right, friends, let's go ahead and see what we harvested today. All right. First of all, I just have to say, I love using this tray for harvesting, especially because the top tray, because it has the holes in there, you can rinse your stuff out if you need to outside, which I absolutely love. But we got ourselves a ton of dwarf Greek basil. And then we got ourselves some jalapeno peppers right here and a couple of pepperoncinis. And then look at all the cucumbers. I mean, I just love my cucumbers in the garden. I am so happy that I was able to harvest a bunch more this week. I have been enjoying making my summer salads, which is cucumbers, peppers, tomatoes, feta, lemon Meyer vinaigrette, and it just screams summer for me. Anyways, we got ourselves some tomatoes, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to harvest some larger tomatoes and more tomatoes in the weeks to come, because I do want to make my little salad recipe and show you how I put that together at the end of a video. Overall, very happy with the harvest. Oh, I forgot. And we got a Melrose Park pepper. All right, friends, I'm actually adding this and I'm recording it on my phone, so the audio might be a little bit different, but I forgot to talk about my trellis in between the black and lemonade Greenstalk, and look what was growing on there. So I had to show this. I'll show the Greenstalks on the next tour because there's just so much going on in this garden, but I had to quickly add this into the video. Look at these cucumbers. And I think there's a couple more on there that I probably need to grab real quick, but I'm sure next week there'll be more for us to harvest, but I had to quickly show this to you. So isn't that crazy? Oh my gosh, I love it. Well, friends, I'm so glad that you all stopped by, and just know that I greatly appreciate every single one of you, and always look forward to turning this camera on every week to share what's going on with the Greenstalks. And I also want you to remember this, friends. I want you to be encouraged, stay encouraged, and I want you to always stay inspired. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye. Enjoy your summer Greenstalks, friends.